Hello everyone, this is Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and today is Monday, September the 4th, 2023, and this is my Flosstube episode number 93. I would like to say hello and welcome to any new subscribers. Thank you so very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and check out to see if there's something I can enable you with. And for all of my returning friends and subscribers, thank you so very much for coming back each and every time that I upload a video. I hope everyone has had a great Labor Day weekend. I was very low-key. I just stitched. I did a little bit of yard work and a little bit of organizing in my craft room. And when I say little bit, I mean very little, because it is blazing again here in Ohio. It just, you know, just as soon as we get used to it being in the 80s, it springs right back up into the 90s, almost to 100. And that's just the way it seems to be with this weather pattern this season. So I hope you all are staying hydrated. I have my water right here, so grab your water. I have had a pretty decent week. Again, it was very low-key, just hanging out around the house and trying to get some things done in the mornings when it's very cool. So I have for you this week a start and a finish, some whips, some FFOs, and investments and my plans for next week. So we're going to just jump right into it. Friday, September the 1st, started WIPGO, and that is in the that event is in the Magazine Monthly Challenge group, Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge group, yeah, which is hosted by Carolyn Zook and Robin Hall. They are the co-leaders of the group, and it has started off with a bang. Every year I look forward to WIPGO and Bringo. It seems to like invigorate me to keep going and pushing through. So I'm very happy to say that they did do it again this year. It is not too late to join in on the fun. You can go over to the Facebook group and answer a couple of questions, get your board ready, and jump right in. Only 3-4 numbers have been called, or letters have been called, so you can still participate. I'm sorry about the glare on my glasses. The sun is streaming right through my window right here. So so let's get started. I'm going to show with my new start. I have a new start. Phew. And I still have not turned on my air conditioner. I have a fan sitting right over here that is keeping me cool, so I'm trying to make it through the whole season without it, I think. But so I had another new start, but it is now an FFO, so I'll show it to you at the end. On September the 1st, I started Home of a Needleworker by Little House Needleworks. And I started this with Carolyn Zook of C Zook Stitch. And I am stitching mine on a 28 count vanilla cream. And here is where I got to on Friday. So I added, with my new start, I put in 313 stitches. I am stitching this. The fabric is not called for, although it's similar to what is called for, but I am using the over dyed Classic Color Works for the floss. And that is where it is now. You know, normally when I do a new start, I make sure I get 200 stitches in and then I put it away. But this month, I think I'm going to keep working on this for a little while and possibly put it in my year of WIPs for next year. I just want to see. So I'm going to keep working on this month to see how much further I can get before I put it away. But there we are, home of a needleworker. It is actually a really fun stitch. Sometimes Little House Needleworks and Country Cottage Needleworks, their borders drive me a little bit nuts. But this one has a very small border, so it's not very bad. Once I figured out the rhythm, I was able to put in quite a bit of it. So I'm hoping to get back to the border on that. The other thing with that project is that it calls for cocoa bean to be used in the border and in the roof. But for the border, I'm using 8. I'm going to use the overdyed. I just didn't have it. I don't have it. I'm going to use the overdyed in the roof, but for the border, I'm using 433. So that was my first new start of this week. Oh, and I'm going to give you my stats for August also. I'll do it after the WIPs since I already done moved on past August, but I do have my August stats also. So let's move on to WIPs. The first call on September the 1st for AB Singo was the letter Q. And my letter Q is Summer Quaker by Rosewood Manor. And here is the chart. It'll look similar to this. And if you recall, the last time I showed this last week, I was working still on this motif right here. So here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where it is now. So I have actually come over into the second section. So here is where the page break is, right down there. So because I didn't want to put in 7 stitches of this basket, I went ahead on and continued and put the whole basket in. And I also did that with this flower motif here and the start of this flower petal up here. I did put in the 2 missing motifs on this side. I've put in these 3 here. This is the start and it goes into another page, and so does this. If you recall, my goal was to, and I put in the whole basket and all of the ninja stitches on that. So this motif is complete now. I forgot what I was getting ready to say. Oh, so if you recall, my goal was to have a page finished by the end of September when I get ready to put this away and start on Autumn Quaker. So I have to fill in just this little bit down here, and I will have my page finished. So it is looking good that I'll get my page finished before the end of the season if I just stick with it. I have 3 more Sundays to work on this project, and I'm positive I will get it in. What won't be completely finished is this basket here has back stitching all in it, and I'm gonna wait to do that back stitching once it is completely finished. It's not like this basket is all X's. This one actually has the back stitching, and it's in a pattern. So I'm going to, I don't know. No, you really can't tell in the picture. But I'm going to wait and do that at the end, or when I'm past this point. I am using my Nurge hoop on this, and I don't want to snag or anything with the stitches that will be in the basket, because it's a decorative look to the basket. So I am stitching this on, and you would think by now I would know it, so I could just say it. Yeah, Palomino. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Palomino by Rogue Stitching. I think last week I said it was by Color and Cotton or Be Stitch Me, but it's actually by Rogue Stitching Atomic Ranch Fabrics. And I'm using the called for Valdani flosses. And I am loving it. Like, this week I put in 471 stitches. Now, the goal for WIPGO is 100 stitches, but what I do is when I am working on it, whatever is called for that for the day, I work on it throughout the day. So I actually worked on this last Sunday while I was waiting for the video to upload. I worked on it because I only got 35 stitches in. So I worked on it again on Monday. Pardon me. And then when she called it on Friday, I worked on it again. So some good stitching time into that. And I was glad. At first I wasn't glad, but then I was glad that, like, it got called early so that I could make sure that I'm going to reach my goal of having that page finished by the end of the season, which was the whole point in me changing the Quakers over to their seasons, is so that I could make good progress within 3 months and get them to a page finish. So I need to do that with Winter Quaker. Winter Quaker is by far the hardest one for me right now. So we'll see. Okay, so that was Summer Quaker. And the letter was Q, and that was on September the 1st. On September the 2nd, R was called, and my R is Rays of Sunshine. And that is... Oh. I thought I put it... Oh, here it is. I had to change out my baskets because I had all the pulls in one basket, and then I'm putting all the finishes in another basket. It's like I got my way of organizing it, but I'm like, where's my stuff? It is Seasonal Sunshine by Ink Circles. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where it is now. If you can see, I've finished the border all the way around. And that was 309 stitches for this time. That's all I worked on, was putting in the finishing border. And then I'll go back in and start putting in the seam. The upper portion of it is the sky, and then all the lower, so the sky only goes to like right about here, and then the rest of it is all the ground. So this is on my year of whips for this year. I am making great progress to have it finished by December the 18th is when the year of whips ends for this year. I know, don't look at this right here though, don't look at that. I'm going to work on it. One of my friends actually had sent me a message and said, I see where the error is. And so I was like, okay, so now I need to see if they still remember where the error is so that I can get it fixed and have this project completely finished by December the 18th. That will include me doing all of the beading. I am using beads in the sun instead of stitches. I saw one of my friends, Miss Gail, she put beads in hers and it was beautiful. So I'm gonna bead mine just like she did. And okay, I told you 309 stitches. This is being stitched on a 16 count Charles Craft Ada with the called for DMC colors. And I'm loving, the closer I get to having that finished, the more excited I seem to be about it, because it's been a long time coming on that project. So I am like, you know, when you can almost see the glimmer at the end of the tunnel, like, oh, I think I might see some sunlight. That's how I feel about that project. Okay, my next project is for WIPGO this month, and it is number 15. And it is Data Portraits in Paris, 1900, and it is by Shaded Stitchery. She has a Gumroad account. Please go over and check her out. She has some fabulous designs. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here it is now. So when I last showed this, I put in this line here, this here, this. Each one of these symbols means something. W.E.D. Du Bois did a data. He gave data on the lives of Black Americans. He did this presentation in Paris, but it is symbolizing the lives and what the lives of the economical and social lives of Black Americans in 1900. And so that is where these motifs are coming from. This is being stitched on a spell book, 28 count by Color and Cotton, and I am using a DMC conversion. Oh, I meant to write down how many. I put in 212 stitches, but I have it in Pattern Keeper, so it tells me what the percentage is that I'm finished with. So next week, when I do my Flosstube, I'll make sure I put that information in. It is a very nice stitch. She has some great charts full of information and that you would not normally see in the marketplace for cross-stitch projects. So that is Data Portraits in Paris, 1900 by Shaded Stitchery. And again, she is on Gumroads if you would like to go and check out her. Sorry, I'm having a problem with my bag. Check out her designs. Okay. For the 3rd of September, the letter was the letter V, and my V is based on the fabric, which is by Fortnite Fabrics. It is Verdigris Agaric which I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, is a mushroom, because the only year I was in their Fabric of the Month club, they did mushrooms, and so that is what that is. And for that chart, I am stitching Floral Fairy by Stitchy Princess on Etsy. And here's a picture of where it was when I last worked on it and showed you. And here it is now. So I have been working on all of the skirt previously. So when I picked it up on the 3rd, I decided that I was going to put in her arms, her bodice, and this is her head. This is the complete shape of her head. So that is what I have done now. I am using, instead of the called for DMC, I am using Weeks Dye Works, and it is Sweetheart Rose, Blue Spruce, there's only 3 colors, and Blue Spruce, Strawberry Heart Rose, and Strawberry Fields. And her face is in Strawberry Heart Rose. But you know what I like about it? Like, it's got little tinges of purple all in it. So I kept her skin tone because she's a flower fairy. Instead of changing it to like my skin tone, I decided to leave it like a flower fairy skin tone. But there she is. I put in 282 stitches on her. She is my WIPGO call number 1, which was PDF pattern. And number 15 is Representation Matters. So cute. So I don't know how much more of this I still have left to do, but when I pull it back out again, well, I have 700 stitches to put in. That's number 1. But when I pull it out again, I think I'm going to put in her hair this time. Her face will not be done until last because it's all just back stitched. Her eyelashes, her nose, and her lips are all back stitched. So, but there she goes. And I actually still have a lot to put in on this piece. It has a border that goes, you can't see it, but like the border is at the top of the page. Had I known what I know now when I first started this, I would have moved the borders all down to make this like a 6x6 piece instead of, you know, it's going to be much larger than that. So there you go, Floral Fairy. And it's been a long time since I've worked on this, and so I was really when I put PDF chart on my WIPGO board, I knew exactly which chart I would be stitching on, because I really enjoyed this chart when I was stitching on it last year. And I didn't want it to just linger and go by the wayside. So this could also, depending on where I get with the 700 stitches, could end up being on my year of WIPs for next year also. So now that brings us up to today, September the 4th. And the September the 4th call was E, and my E is ethereal. And it stands for light and flowy. And so it's temperature butterflies. So I on top of stitching for Magazine Monthly, I had to finish the road trip. So I have finished the road trip. I have arrived at the Gold Strike Motel, but there is no rest for the weary. I have to put in, so in order to play the slot machine or whatever kind of gambling you want to do. My gambling, which I've never really done, was roll the dice, but it was 200 stitches per roll. So that is why I have so many stitches in on Temperature Butterfly. So let me show you. Here's a picture. Oh, sorry. Temperature Butterfly is by Stitching Mommy. And here is the design that she did for me. So I had her do it in a 3x4. Here's a picture of where it was when you last saw it. And here is where it is now. So as you can see, I have completed the odd number of, this is the odd days of the month. It is all filled in. I then went back in. This all happened. So I started working on it last night before the number got called. So I actually had 100 stitches in, but this morning I put in another 100 stitches for my AB Singo. Okay, this is gonna be hard to show. Okay, here we go. So then this morning, when I found out that I had to stitch 200 stitches to roll the dice, and for every roll of the dice I needed to stitch 200 stitches, so I put in all the veining, and then I came back and started filling in the colors on the even side. I have put in on Temperature Butterfly 618 stitches for 3 rolls of the dice. Nope, I put in more than that because I also put in 100 yesterday, another 100 this morning. Oh no, because one of the that's right. So I put in 100 stitches yesterday before the letter got called. But then this morning when I knew that it was Temperature Butterfly that I was gonna have to work on. So 100 was for AB Singo. Then I stitched another 100 to put it in for the road trip. Then I stitched another 400 stitches to put in for 3 rows. I sure hope y'all got all of that. I know it sounded really, but I'm doing everything on the up and up. You know, I knew I picked up Temperature Butterflies last night because I didn't have anything really that was calling to me. But I was like, oh, I'll just put some stitches in, and then boom, I'm working on it, and Carolyn calls E. So I have Temperature Butterflies on my AB Singo chart board a couple of more times. So I'm going to get September's butterfly finished. I'm going to roll this up and start on October's butterfly as soon as September's is completed, which may be sometime this week. Because if she calls the number, I have to put in 100 stitches. But what I do is, when she calls the letter, that's the project I work on all day long. So that's one of the reasons why I was able to put so many stitches in it. Like, I have been stitching off and on Temperature Butterflies all day today, so that I could get those rolls in for the road trip, Gold Strike Hotel Casino thing. So potentially I could put 2 more 100 stitches in, because in the road trip I can keep stitching 200 stitches until they release leg 8. Well, we don't know when they're going to release it yet. So it could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 2 weeks. I don't know. It won't be 2 weeks, but I'm thinking it's going to be tonight. But there's Temperature Butterfly. I am so excited. You guys just do not know. Like, I had lagged on this for so long, and now I just have so much momentum to get it finished. So there's the September. All I have to do now is fill in the even number of days of the week, even number days of the week, and I will have September completed. And then I'm going to just keep right on going. I don't care that October is next month. I'm going to keep on going because it dawned on me in my head. I initially had the goal to have this finished by, well, I still do have to have it finished by December the 18th. But then I have to go back and put in all of the antennae for all these butterflies, which are all backstitched. So I want to get it done where I have some leeway. I don't want to be right up to the 18th getting this done. So that's my baby, my temperature butterflies. And it is so great because like I can see that it's getting finished. So she has not called, Carolyn has not called the numbers for the 5th yet, which is tomorrow. So those will be on my next video. So for this week, the total number of stitches I have in is 2,254 stitches. So while we're on that, let me go back and give you what August stats were. I had the month in review for August was, I had a total number of stitches of 8,983 stitches. I worked on 12 projects. I had 3 new starts and I had 6 finishes. And my average daily stitch count was 290 stitches. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. Oh, sorry. But it is a lot. I'm not going to minimize what I did because I stitched almost 9,000 stitches in 1 month, which is crazy, crazy, crazy pants, crazy sauce, all of this crazy for me, to me. But a lot of that is me working on temperature butterflies and putting in over 1,000 stitches on temperature butterflies because my numbers are normally not that high. So, you know, I'm just trying to keep it real and let you know, like, I don't stitch super fast. I do stitch a lot, which is going to start slowing down a little bit after AB's Thingo, but because I'm going back to quilting. I need to make some gifts. I got to get some stuff done. That's going to drive me nuts. Okay. And on this coming Friday, I am going to take a crochet class because I am really wanting to do crochet and the YouTube videos just aren't doing it for me. I've tried slowing them down. It's just not working. So I'm going to go and take a class, which will be fun because I'll get out the house. My kids are ragging me because I stay in the house too much. But so one of my finishes was, we're not going to talk about my kids because they just, you need to get out the house. You need to do stuff. I'm like, I'm fine in the house. I like doing what I'm doing. I'm cross stitching. So I finished and FFO'd the September Life is Just a Bowl of. And here's my bowl. Now, I don't know where I put my little card. But there's the bowl. I made these little apples. Let me hold them up. They gave you an example on how to make the little apple. So I made 3 little apples. I finished the roll. And then I received, remember I told you that there was a problem with the, I didn't get the part of the stuff, part of the Ada or the backing fabric for the stamp. Well, that next Monday, the day after my video, it was in the mail. And so I was able to go ahead on and finish it. And there's the front with my stitching, and then here is the back with the Teresa Kogut fabric on it. And so I am super excited about it. I'm getting pretty good at the FFOing of these, so I'm really excited to have them completed, and that they'll be able to be in the right there for the month, instead of, you know, me, because I never did get August fully finished. So I'll be fully finishing it and getting it together also. But there's a card, and I don't know what I did with the card, but there's what the bowl looks like, and I'll be putting it up there on the, I'm gonna take a picture of it. I wish I had some more bowl fillery stuff, but it is what it is. So that was my FFO for the September. Investments. I received, it seems like I have something else, but I can't. I don't know where I put it. Oh, I know where I put it. I received the Christmas ornament edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine, which there are some super cute stuff, things, charts in here. I want to stitch this right here, and there was also a companion piece in the August edition that goes along with this. August and the ornament edition, there's a couple of charts where they have companion pieces in, but I think that is so cute. It's a poinsettia fairy. So I received that, and my friend always does a flip through, Carolyn Zook. So if you would like to see a flip through of the magazine before you purchase it, head on over to her channel. I'll link it down below, and you can see what the flip through looked like. I cannot believe I didn't open this. I received my floss fix from Fat Quarter Shop that I didn't open. So now I'm trying to sit here and open it. Oh my goodness, this plastic is like no joke. There we go. So I'm not gonna take, since I didn't, you know, take them out. Here's what they look like inside the package, and then I'll show you what they are. Candy apple, caper, cappuccino, capri, Caribbean, and Carolina Cecil. There's some pretty colors. So that's my week's dye works from Fat Quarter Shop. And then my Be Stitch Me fabric of the month came in also, and I get a 32 count of fabric, and this month is called Luna Moth. It's not that blue, it's more of a minty green. She has some beautiful fabrics. So that is my Luna Moth 32 count. And that is all of the investments that I have for this time. It seems like at the middle of the month I have a lot of investments, and then at the beginning of the month I don't have hardly any. And I've been, sorry about the motorcycle. Okay, now that he's passed on by, good Lord. So those are my investments for this time. In the coming weeks, I'll be actually showing more quilting. I'm going to put it out there, and then maybe I can hold myself accountable to doing what I say I'm going to do. Because me just saying it to myself isn't getting any progress made. And there's some things, I found I was watching Fat Quarter Shop Friday. She did a sew with me, and she made this quilt. And I'm like, there's no reason why. And it's a throw quilt, you know, like it's not a big old queen size quilt, but I don't necessarily want to make big queen size quilts. I think little lap quilts are good. I basically need something to like throw over my legs when I'm sitting here cross stitching in the winter, or excuse me, or something like that. Like I don't want to make myself a queen size quilt. That's just not in my wheelhouse just yet. I've made full size quilts for my children, but I am not, well, for my daughter, because my son will watch this and be like, I ain't getting no quilt. So for my daughter, I made a full-size quilt. But throw-size quilts, I think I can do those quicker, and I can machine quilt it here at home rather than taking it to a long armor and trying to get it done. Although I am going to check out to see about some long arm. I'm wondering if anyway, you don't care about all of that. I'm putting it out there that I'm going to start showing quilt blocks, and I have quilt blocks that are finished, that all I need to do is sew them together and I can make a throw size quilt. So like, I just need to put it out there so that I can start being held accountable to doing it, because I keep saying every week to myself, I really want to go sew, I really want to go sew, but I sit here and cross stitch, and there's nothing wrong with cross stitching. I love cross stitching, but I have other hobbies, and I do not want to burn myself out on doing cross stitch because that's all I do all the time. So I'm putting it out there. So those of you who, want to hold me accountable, I would appreciate it. Thank you. So my plans for this upcoming week is that I will keep working on my AB Singo, as the letters are called. And on the 7th and or 8th, I will be working on Purple Rain, getting some stitches in for my full coverage day. Those are all the plans. Oh, I need to say something about, okay. And I am going to put together, I have a quilt. I have blocks that I can put together in a quilt. I'm going to work on that too. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. Work on quilt. So, those are my plans for this week. AB Singo, the whole month of September, my plans are based upon AB Singo. I will be working on my WIPGOs projects off and on through the month. Putting over 200 stitches in both of those projects have really given me a jump start towards my 700. So I'll be definitely working on both of those. But other than that, this week is all about AB Singo and Purple Rain and sewing some quilt blocks together. I hope you all are enjoying these last few, they're extremely hot days. I know this is the unofficial end of summer. I don't know why they always say that. We have 2.5 more weeks of summer, so, but that's what they do. But I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you've had a good summer season and gotten out and gotten to do some things that you want to do. I'm getting back. I'm trying to get back to normal. Normal is a foreign word to me now, but I'm doing better than I was. am doing much better than I was, and so it's good to keep the momentum up and going. I appreciate all of you that comment and thumbs up on my videos. I do read every one of them. I don't necessarily respond back because thank you for watching my videos is an understatement, but I appreciate every single comment, like, thumbs up, all of the things. So please continue to keep those coming. I will see you again next week. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.